This is an exclusive House of Ramirez interview.
Hey guys, this is House of Ramirez. Y'all already know what's up. We're here kicking it with my sister Georgette. Georgette, you're doing big things here in Atlanta. I see you, sis. I want to go ahead and applaud you for everything that you're doing. For a lot of people that don't know who Georgette and Juiced Up Incorporated is, can you go ahead and tell us who you are? Tell us about your upbringing.
Absolutely. So my name is Georgette, guys. A lot of people know me as Gigi or Juiced Up Jenny or Plant-Based Polly. I'm all of the above. I am just a giver and seeker of love and light. What you see is completely what you get. I'm on 10 all the time. I'm always happy. And when I'm not, I let the tears flow because nothing can grow without water. My upbringing, it's so awesome how your upbringing can just continue to be in your life, if you just get back to basics. I grew up in Dublin, Georgia. I'm from Atlanta, and I'm not from like Atlanta and I'm on the outskirts. Like, I'm born in Atlanta, West Pacer Ferry, baby. Okay, no shade to the Grady's babies, but my mama had insurance. Okay, so I lived in Atlanta till about 4, and I lost my mom when I was 4, and my aunt was so gracious to take me and my sister in, and she raised us in Dublin, Georgia. During that time, I lived on a farm. Literally, I lived on a farm. I ate off the land. It was amazing time. Like, I grew up a country girl. I had dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, goat carts, and a pond behind my house. That house is still standing. The land is still there. So it's grateful. My eating habits, they didn't shy too far away from my upbringing. So yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Sis, the fact that you come from humble beginnings, beautiful beginnings, that pushes us into actually getting to know who we are when we're endeavoring into entrepreneurship. That's very key. I stress that a lot. I want to say, that you're a beautiful young lady. You're an encouraging young lady. I've had the pleasure of meeting you, working with you, and yes, what you get is what you see is what you get with Gigi. And despite of the challenges of life that you may have had growing up, you know, um, you're a strong woman, and you're evidently grounded, and you're giving back to us. And I want to thank you for that. A little bit about me, a lot of people don't understand. I got family in Dublin. So Dublin, when you said that, I was like, wow, like that's crazy. It's a small world. But yeah, I'm just very thankful that you made time to actually speak to us. It means so much more, not just knowing you and working with you, but actually seeing that you're very humble and you're very rooted. And like you mentioned, your work today is not very far away from your upbringing. Um, so I want to ask you, to this day, who have been some of your inspirations and mentors, and how have they impacted your life?
I would definitely say, like, my family. My family is, and I say that because people are like, who inspires you? My family inspires me to do everything that I do thus far. For as far as I can remember, I've always had been around healers and was able to heal. Laughter is one of the best medicines, and people always say, I just love being around you. You're light. My whole life I've been hearing those things. So having the humble beginnings and having the people in my community that I looked up to. Fun fact about me, Andrew Young is like family to me. He and my mother were best friends, and my aunt ran his campaign when he ran for, I think, senator and mayor in Dublin, like in the 90s. Wow. So I call him my Uncle Andy. So looking up to Andrew Young has always just been like, that's Uncle Andy, and I've enjoyed just watching him grow, and his, that's entrepreneurship, going that route. A lot of people who have influenced my life to this day, all the educators in my life. I hold 2 college degrees. People don't count associates, but I do. So I do have associates of communications. I have a bachelor's of art, and I have a bachelor's of science with a minor in theater. Yeah. So everything I love, I wanted to learn more about it. So all the educators in my life, because I was raised by an educator, my dad is a big, big influence. That guy is 80 and he still talk trash and eat meat. And but he listens to me and he's growing. So from beginning, like just, those aspects. Now, when I think about pillars in the community and in the world that people don't know, Oprah is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, right? I mean, I'm quite sure she's everybody's favorite, but she's absolutely my favorite. And I call myself like the plant-based Oprah. So, but yeah, now, like in my now, because these are the people I look up to growing up. So in my now, the people that I look up to are those who's actually committed like to this lifestyle that I take I take part in. Dr. Bobby Price, that's my guy. That's everything that I know I learned like from him and through around him. And it's been so other people like Chef Aki. I absolutely love her. And these are people like in Atlanta, for those who don't know. Chef Aki, she's amazing. Her light is just a phenomenal one. If you ever have her food, you have been completely blessed. Yes. Tierra Goes Green is one of them. I heart tea so much. She is definitely a voice that has been with me and always in the back of my mind when I, seek different things, because she's taken this journey. I'm 9 years vegan, or plant-based. I've been every version in between, the junk food vegan, the fried, everything fried vegan, it's Oreos and it's vegan, to just being completely raw, being completely juiced. And now having this company, my biggest and bestest inspiration to this day, right here, right now, is my amazing, phenomenal son, Gage Gunner. Okay. He's perfect. He inspires me every day to be better, greater, to really just be a good person, because he looks up to me and he's such an amazing person. And I definitely love that God chose me to be his mommy and to navigate him through this life, because he definitely helps me 100%. And like that is my inspiration. Like,
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, sis. From all the mentors and inspirations that you touched on, I can relate to all those. I can see how you are who you are and continue to become a greater version of yourself with so many beautiful mentors and inspirations. Shout out Oprah, Uncle Andy,
okay, Uncle Andy,
yo
yes.
dad, and with all love, your son. I'm a mother too. I'm a mother of 3 young kings, and we don't take that lightly. As a mom, you do anything and everything for your children, and they inspire us. So I feel you on all that. I really do. Gigi, I want you to tell everybody about Juiced Up Incorporated and what
Yes.
are your core values.
Okay, so first of all, Juiced Up started in my kitchen, just learning about juicing and food and it being medicine, and being able to heal yourself. So a lot of people know this and some don't. Like, I love theater so much that I moved to New York for it. And it was short-lived. I only lived there about 2 years before, like, my father, his health started declining a little bit. So I came back home. And the only job while I was there that I could secure that was like literally securing me to be able to survive in New York was at a health food store. That was it. So I learned so much by just being there, being in Chelsea, being around a lot of plant-based people, a lot of health conscious people, and just people who are conscious beings definitely developed me in that short amount of time. So when I returned back to Atlanta, I had this, I looked at Atlanta with new eyes, only 2 years away, but I had that New York state of mind. I definitely had bit the apple and drank the Kool-Aid in New York. So definitely when I got back to Atlanta, I was on a mission. And that first mission was heal my father. That next mission was to heal myself. Although I had been practicing and doing and I think I called Tierra every day one summer, like literally every day, like what I eat today, or this is what's going on, or how I feel about this. And you know what? She was always there, always answer my questions with love and from love. So like, that's my baby forever, like forever, ever. And so I began juicing like in my kitchen and just making juice for me and my father. And my family was like, oh, you know, that juice. Okay, you make juice. You know how your family, yeah, you know, she got a little business she started. I hadn't even started a business. This is what family said. They was like, you know, you should sell this. And, you know, I'm in the gym every day and people are like, what are you drinking? I'm like, oh, you know, I just made some apple beet carrot, you know, lemon turmeric juice for myself today. That's how I feel. Like, oh, you know, can you bring me some? And literally start selling it out the trunk of my car. And it grew and it grew and it's still growing because as of now today, and I have some amazing things that's coming. I'm so excited. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we look ahead at where we want to be and not where we've came so far from. So I pat myself on the back because I started with juice and I started with 5 juices, and that was 2017. And fast forward to 2020, I have juice. I have supplements. Okay, you guys get into the supplements. I have supplements. I have apparel, and now the Juicy Talks. And it's just, when I started this, it was juice. Who knew my life was a brand? You know, like, and you can brand it and you can make a living by being exactly who you are. One of the most influential people that I neglected to say is Les Brown. In my mind, he's my uncle. Okay. But he said this, and I listened to it about maybe 8 years ago. And he said, do whatever it is you love and find you somebody to pay you to do it. Because if you find one person to pay you, they're going to tell another and another and another and X, Y, Z, and it's going to grow. So man, if you just completely find out what it is that just makes you light up and makes you thrive, like do that, and somebody will pay you to do it. And so Juiced Up is, I didn't think it would be where it is. I even started a nonprofit called The Puzzle's Purpose because, and which is going to answer your next question, my core values is like service the community. We're all put here to serve. Prior to this entrepreneur life, I was already an entrepreneur. I was a bartender and a wine connoisseur teacher, and I taught, and a bourbonite. So I teach spirits. Again, that is a spirit, being able to heal. The medicinal properties in alcohol is amazing, but when we abuse them, that's when other things come. But I've always been around the spirits, and I've always been around the healing aspect. So having those core values that, one, we're here to serve, and service in my community, serve the people that look like me or that look like you, that are underprivileged or underserved or just even misunderstood. And then from that, it's just to continue to be true. That's true to myself, true to who I love, true to the people around me, walking in my truth, being in my light, like being truthful. Because once you can completely look in the mirror and be truthful with yourself, like that's half the battle. Knowing you and being truthful. That's it. The rest of this is gonna fall right into place. I guarantee you that it works. So starting the nonprofit at Puzzle's Purpose, I wanted to ensure people knew more about autism and more about mental disorders and what food can do for it or can trigger it or trigger different things. So my company definitely changed from just being a juice company to juicing for health and mental wellness. So now we're here in the health and mental wellness aspect. I want to continue to give to my community. My shop is located in the West End, 1017 Fair Street. I operate out of a shared kitchen, where it was a shared kitchen before COVID, and then there's no one here. So when I contact, the owners and things, and then it's like, you know what? Well, let's see how it works. And the community has opened their arms to me and embraced me and my veganism, and they come through, because on Tuesdays we do tacos, And they come through and, you know, sister, that smell good. What is it? What kind of meat is it? And I go, you know, brother, that's mushrooms. And he was like, yeah, but what's the meat in it? No, there is no meat. It's mushrooms. And just educating and learning and growing and healing. Because those are my things. That is my niche. That's what makes me who I am. And the more I heal, the more I am healed. The more I teach, the more I learn. And it's an ongoing process. And it's forever evolving. And I think, you know, having those things around me will continue to help me grow. Like I have a long way to go. You know, I just got here. I'm a baby in this. But I see what it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just excited.
Yeah,
I get
well,
so
I
excited.
want to thank you, you know, for sharing that with us. This is a great opportunity for people to see the interview, to hear the interview, and to read your article, and to see that if you can do it, anybody can do it too. And it doesn't have to be in social or health in wellness of self. Obviously, that comes, you know, in your own private setting, and you're encouraging that. But if someone likes fashion, or if someone likes other fields that they're more likely pulled and drawn to, if you can do it, you're giving inspiration to others to do it too, and to be true to who you are. And like you mentioned, being healed is very important, because once you figure out who you are, you know where you're going. You have a nonprofit now, and you're wanting to inform us as to how being tuned in to your health is important and good for you, and not just you, your families. So you're giving back to us. You're not just keeping all this great information to yourself. You're giving back to us, and I want to thank you for that, because it takes true genuine love for thyself and thy neighbor for you to actually give and bring that to us. So thank you.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
to tell you more about the health and mental wellness aspect with the Puzzle Purpose, we work with mostly verbal, but we're starting to work with the nonverbal ADS, which is autism disorder, autism spectrum disorder. My son was diagnosed in 2015, 2016 with autism. And a lot of times when we get a diagnosis, we accept it. Hi, Gage. Hi. Hey, look. So I'm on an interview, and I was just talking about you. Can you show? What else you want to tell them? You want to tell them to have a day or have a juiced up day? He said it.
Oh, that's too cute.
Yeah. Okay, so what was I saying? So that was Gage.
Yeah.
He
Hey.
my biggest inspiration, and I want to shed the light on your diet and being autistic. And I'm not saying there's a cure for it, but we can definitely control certain triggers and control certain behaviors with the type of food that we put in our bodies. One of my supplements is ashwagandha. It's great for people who have anxiety or suffer from depression or Asperger's disease and autism. So everything is starting to circle back around of the same herbs and things that healed me from beginning to now me doing it for my son. And I want to continue to make a way for people like my son, because society is not always socially acceptable for them. And I want him to be comfortable in who he is and know that you can have a job. You can make your own job. So we are partnering up with what is the name of Camp Autism, because we had a chance to go this summer and we interact with the children. It was so amazing because I got to teach them about juicing for their brain functioning, and they got to actually make juice. And then in the same time, we taught them how to make labeling and got them prepared for making like their own company or starting a company. And so we was, doing labels, and it was just, that's when I kind of got the idea, like, this would be great because I can teach them a skill, juicing or prepping or cleaning or organizing or whatever that looks like, and teach them skills, and they can go off and apply it to every day. Back in my purpose. Back helping, back healing. So after it was just a no-brainer. So
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I am in this space and I'm in this business. Literally
Yeah,
this business. I'm in it. It's my
absolutely.
life. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can tell that you have a passion for it, and that comes back to knowing who you are. You have a passion for this, you have a drive, and you yourself, you're walking in your purpose. And you're helping yourself, you're helping your son, and you're helping the community, and not just the community, others that are part of the community that need our help. Sometimes children with autism, they're shunned, you know,
Mhm.
and they are human too. And we have to understand that they're going to be adults too. And like you mentioned, if you could teach them a tool, a trait that they can use in their day-to-day lives to help themselves, but also one day become entrepreneurs and either work and apply for another company or start their own, it
Mhm.
gives them hope to actually be successful adults, regardless of what they might have battling that they're learning about, and they're coping with. So I want to thank you for that too, because most times us adults, we only focus on what we can do, what we can accomplish, our dreams. We tend to forget the little people. And we have to
Mhm.
pay attention that our little people, our young children, our babies, they're our future. When we get old, they're going to be taking care of us. So what kind of people are we, if we neglect our future?
Mhm.
Yep,
Uh,
yep.
Yeah, yeah, you said that. So that's why I tell Gage all the time, we go through and I say, you're different. He said, yeah. I said, do you
Yeah.
know you're autistic? Because oh my God, H.O.R, for anybody that has children, has these amazing books. And they're like, be who you are. It's okay to be different. And these are some of the titles of the books, or the mommy book, the daddy book, and it goes through the roles on what that looks like, because it is not conventional anymore, and that's okay. But it keeps up with the world and saying, some families have two moms, or some families have two dads, or some families have just grandma or aunts. It explains all the different kinds of families, but it's still a family. So just explaining to him, sometimes your brain has misfires and it doesn't communicate to one side to the next. And he's like, it's okay, mommy. And I said, yeah, it's okay. And I said, would you stop being autistic? He said, no, mommy. And I said, well, why? He said, because it makes Gagey. And it absolutely
Mhm.
does. It makes him him. And
Mhm.
it makes him that much more amazing. Like, he shows me something new every single day, and he grows every single day. We
Mhm.
Operation Try New Veggies. So for all the
Mhm.
mommies who are watching, it takes about 13 days for your little one to actually um, start to like a vegetable that you have administered in your day-to-day diet. So for 13 days, we ate carrots. For 13 days, we ate cauliflower. For 13 days, we had peas. For 13 days, we had mushrooms, and so on and so forth. And by that time, their palate has gotten used to it, or their for the kids, this is for any kids, because kids don't like texture. But for my kids with superpowers, they don't like the textures, or they may not like it. So juicing is a great way to administer those things into
Mhm.
your picky eater's diet, because I definitely give Gage green juice daily. Like, he's gonna get his green juice every day.
Yeah, that's key. Finding ways to still administer the nutrients that the child needs, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that if they're picky, what are alternate ways to still administer those nutrients to the child without having to bring a piece of conflict between both child and mom or dad. And like you
Right.
said, nothing is what it used to be before. Things change, and we have to adapt to change. Sometimes there's two moms, sometimes there's two dads, sometimes there's only a mom,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there's only a dad, or
Mm-hmm.
just a grandma or just an uncle. And we have to be able to adapt to that. And like you mentioned, you're giving pointers as to how to navigate in parenthood, regardless of what that looks like for each family. So I want to thank you for that. I want to ask you, to your opinion, what do you think would make our communities a better place, to your opinion?
You know, people just holding themselves accountable, and then people holding people accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we used to hear stories of our parents. It's like, oh, if I got in trouble, you know, while I was down Mr. Such and Such house, I got it there, and then I got it when I got home.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a village to raise our children. We're still children to the elders. So we need our elders to tell us stories to carry on generation to generation. So when it comes to the gentrification of neighborhoods, I don't always agree with it, because you allow someone who is not from here to infiltrate your place where you grew up, where you have been here, you've thrived here, and then you shunned your own community when it became a little rundown, instead of pulling together and banding together and fixing your community and uplifting the people around you and holding the people in your community accountable for their actions. We allow people to come in and buy it up at a rate that was so cheap and completely destroy and demolish things, and then they build up what their version of this area, and hence we get the gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
So where are all the neighborhoods where we grew up at? Where are all the neighborhoods where the minorities had businesses and schools and they were thriving? The West End is, that's it, more so. It's Beltline and the warehouses that were here and the historical events that took place in West End Atlanta, West End downtown Atlanta. Those things are being erased and they're being wiped away. And it's up to us, it's up to the minorities to speak up and hold each other accountable to take back our communities. I don't want to seem like I'm just a tyrant to take back the communities, but these communities were owned and operated and they thrive by people of minority, by Black people.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And I agree with you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I speak on that a lot to a lot of people. Um, we are able to conduct and control our own neighborhoods. It's been conducted thus far pretty great, you know, whether it's Hispanic communities, Black communities, any minority owned neighborhood before
Mm-hmm.
gentrification, we've been able to adapt and move with ease and also with success. And you know, the way things are working now,
Mm-hmm.
it's not working for our favor, you know, and we've been doing good so far. It's all about money, really. That's just my opinion. But I think the one thing that's really going to change our communities, like you mentioned, if we hold each other accountable and we actually stick together and we actually look out for one another. We can't do
Absolutely.
this alone, but we could do it together. You know, unity is what's really going to bring each you know, each business, each family, each block together. For many people that don't know, that's going to be reading this, listening, or seeing this, and they never been or they don't know very well of the West End in Atlanta. The West End, to me, to my opinion, is rich in culture. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's fading out, but it's rich in culture. If you really want some serious, excuse me, serious as good food, and you really want to feel the culture, the love of the community, the love of thy neighbor, everybody's looking out for everybody, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just, it's rich in culture. And that's what we're lacking in closer to the city, in the city, and it's being demolished slowly but surely all around the city. And we understand it's all about location. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end, where do we go? You know, once it's taken from us, where are we left to go if this is where this is all we've known? This is where we have conducted business. We've raised our families. We looked out for other families, you know. But like you mentioned, changing the communities is only going to happen when we come together. We're stronger in numbers.
Absolutely. I would definitely agree. And with that being said, y'all better go vote. Okay. We done got a situation. We got ourselves in a situation now. And voting for your local branches is what's going to make a difference. Getting out in your community and speaking up, getting out and going to the town hall meetings or going to your city meetings, your city council meetings. Like, get involved, get in your PTA, PTO meetings. Like, I know we're in the COVID era, because that's what they're gonna call this in the history books. So we're in the COVID area, and being in this time, the media has what we need to be coming together. They've pulled us apart now. And now we're relying solely on devices and solely on technology. I grew up with dial-up, okay? I have watched this whole thing evolve. So the people after me are true, like millennials. Like they're here, they're locked in. Like our children know nothing else. They know nothing else. So I definitely say banding together, coming together, and being that unity and love that this was built on,
Yeah. Keep it
definitely.
going. Yeah, we got to keep it going. It was built on love and compassion to one another, and it's
Mm-hmm.
been brought to us with all of that love. So now it's our turn to grab the baton and keep that
Keep
marathon
it
going.
going.
Keep
Got
it
to.
going, move it forward. But yeah, it's a big cycle. It's a cycle of love. It's a cycle of life. And as long as we do it with a pure heart, that's what counts. And we have to keep others in
Absolutely.
mind. Like you initially mentioned, you can't just be selfish. This is not going to work. Unity. So,
Not
yeah.
gonna work.
I
Crabs
have
in the
a
bucket.
well, yeah, but at the same time, who placed us in a bucket?
Oh, absolutely. I get that part too. Hey, we ain't
Yeah.
gonna talk about what this land was really built
Uh,
on.
exactly.
That's another story, honey.
But I want to ask you, you're such an encouragement. You are a light, Gigi. And I want to
Thank
ask
you.
you, are there any pointers or pieces of advice that you'd like to share with our youth, with even our adults,
Mhm.
upcoming entrepreneurs? What pieces of advice do you have for all of us?
Have a plan. A man with no plan plans to fail. Have a plan. Um, I think every entrepreneur has had some type of plan. And when you didn't, and you quickly learned that you were failing, you quickly figured it out. So you plan accordingly. Have a plan. Again, find your passion. Find your passion. Find your passion. Did I tell you to find your passion? And when you're finished, find your passion. You're going to have several of them. Find
Yeah.
your passion and run with it. Take it and just go. Paint the whole town with your passion. And I say that because when you find what makes you twinkle, because I have no idea what you see when you see me. I just know I work on the inside. And which brings me to my last one. Work on you. Work on you daily. I don't know how to work on me. Read a book that says work on me. Read a book that says how to break a bad habit. Read a book that says how to develop a good habit. Read a book on how to build a car, build a house, build a truck, whatever that looks like. When you find your passion, read on it, do your research on it, learn from it, become an expert in it. And once you become that expert in it, you tell any and everybody who will listen, because that's when your work from your passion and your purpose put together, and now you can go on and start your own tribe. So definitely always protect your light. So, and I say that to my adolescents and to my teens. Everybody not your friend, and they not meant to go everywhere you go. That's why your mom always said, I don't know about them kids. Them ain't my kids. I worry about you. Everybody's not going to be for you, and that is okay. That's okay. For my adults, know that it's still okay. We're still learning. We're still growing. We are still here. So as long as you are here, your little light is supposed to shine bright, because somebody somewhere had a light shining for you and lit your way. So you need to have your light shine to light somebody else's way.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
The more people start to tune into who they are, they will become pure in their
Mm-hmm.
purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that's thank you for that. And I always do this at the end, Gigi. You know, I hit them with the surprise. Are there any shout outs that you like to make? Because, you know, House of Ramirez is really big on shout outs. Are there any shout outs you like to make?
Man, I want to give a shout out to my damn self, okay? I'm going to shout me out. I'm going to give a shout out to me. I want to give a shout out to everybody who has had a hand in helping Juiced Up Inc. be what it is right here, right now. Every single body. It's way too many to name. I want to give a shout out to Shameless Dwindle. That's my big little sister. She's growing. She's a plant-based chef and she's growing. Who else? I want to give a shout out to my daddy. Okay. That's my daddy. He rocking 80s so well. Shout out to G-Man, aka OG. And I am OG GG. That's when we get there. That's what me and daddy call each other. Shout out to my baby grandmama. She the bestest in the whole wide world. And my bestest friend, Ashley. Okay. She's been my rock, my motivator, my cheerleader, my truth. That's my girl. And a special, warm, magical shout out to you, my darling, for having me in this time, in this place, in this space. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Girl, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, this is, I was so excited to just have you on my show. You know, once this article comes out, you're going to see Shawty publishing it everywhere. I want everybody to know, you know, it's beautiful to see somebody walking in their purpose and not just being stingy and walking in their purpose and loving that self, but loving others. It's rare. It's very rare, Gigi. So I just want everybody to know that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, sis. Well, until next time, I'll go ahead and talk to you soon and we'll chop it up.
Absolutely. And cheers to a juiced up day.
Make sure to follow House of Ramirez on all social media platforms.